And it really is just a lot of like plugging and chugging into the equation and then using your calculator to spit out the answer. That's really all that today is, okay? So it's a lot of just plugging things in. As we go through and do the volume of each shape, we're going to make sure that we identify what type of prism or pyramid it is first. And then once we've identified the type, then we will go through and we'll plug everything into our formulas, okay? So first one we're going to start with is prisms. And remember, a prism is a shape that has a base, two bases that are parallel to each other. Could be top and bottom. Our volume formula for a prism looks like this. It's a big B, a capital B, times H. The capital B stands for the area of the base. So whatever that base shape is, we're going to find the area first, which is why we wrote our area formulas at the top. And then we're going to multiply that times the height between the two bases. So the height is whichever side length connects your two bases together. So if we take a look at number one, what type of prism is number one? Rectangular prism. Great. So with your highlighter, I want you to highlight the base rectangle, the base shape. And if you don't have a highlighter, you can just color it in, shade it in lightly, it's fine. What? Okay, rectangular prism, so I'm identifying it as I go through. So first step is we find the area of the base, and we just said the base shape was a rectangle, so we're going to find the area of a rectangle. And I like to just kind of write what the shape is so I don't forget. Okay, how do we find the area of a rectangle? Length times width. And what's the length and width of just the purple rectangle, nothing else? 10 and 14. Just that base shape, just the rectangle. The length is 10, the width is 14. Okay, great. So we're going to multiply those two together. 10 times 14 gives me 140. Good. And then the last thing we need to do is identify the height of our prism. And so the height is the height between the bases. So it's the side length that connects the bottom base and the top base together. So which one of those numbers connects them? 4.5 is my height. Okay. So final step is I plug it into the volume formula. Volume is area of the base times the height. Wait, what?
How did you get 4.5?
So 4.5 is the height of the whole prism. It's the side that connects the bottom base to the top base. That's my height. Yes, it is. Okay, so area of the base was 140. Multiply that times 4.5. My total volume is 630. And now when I label it, I need to label it as inches, but because it's volume, you're multiplying 3 of them together, inches times inches times inches. So this is inches cubed.
Wait, hold on. What did you did 140 times 4.5?
Correct. I'm sorry, what was the question? Is there another question I missed? So volume is always going to be units cubed, and you do have to put the cubed, otherwise it's not right. Okay. All right. What questions can I answer? We okay on that one? Easy peasy, right? Yeah, easy peasy. All right. Number 2. What type of prism is number 2?
Triangular.
Good. So we always want to identify what the type of prism is first so that we can color in our base shape. So because this is a triangular prism, that means the base is one of the triangles. So I don't care which one you color, but you got to color in one of them.
How do you know what the base is? Is it just...
Bases are the two shapes that are always going to be parallel to one another.
So wait, anytime I have that little, what's it called? That little square thing at the bottom, that means that it's the base, right?
I mean, not always, but yes, like 9 times out of 10, yes. Okay, so we've got a triangular prism. Our base shape is a triangle. So our big B is going to be a triangle. So how do you find the area of a triangle? Base times height divided by 2. Great. So looking at just the purple triangle and nothing else, what's the base, and the height of just that triangle? 11 and 5.4. Just purple triangle. Okay, so we multiply those two together, and then we divide that by 2. So that is 59.4, right? And half of that is 0.7, thank you. Okay, oops, I should zoom out, my fault. Okay, so that is the area of the triangle. And you now have to multiply the area of the triangle times the height of the whole prism. Now be careful. Height of the prism is the side that connects your bases together. So your bases are 2 triangles. Which side connects those 2 triangles together? 6, I heard 16. No. Which side connects the 2 triangles together?
6. Yeah, but
So think about it like, oh, I don't have my triangular prism out. So here's the other one, right? It's back here. Right, there's the other one. So if you're looking at it, the 10 only touches, here's the 10. Does that touch both triangles? No. Here's the 6. Does that touch both triangles? No. Here's the 16. Does that touch both triangles? Yes, it touches the edge of both triangles. This is my height. 16. And it actually should be millimeters. I just realized that. Not inches. What the heck is that? Typos. So the height of the whole prism, 16. So final step, volume equals B times H. My big B we solved was 29.7, and my height of the whole prism is 16. So when I multiply those together, what do I get? Someone tell me. And what should, bless you, what should I label it as? Millimeters cubed. Perfect. All right. Okay, what questions can I answer so far? Seriously, no one has a single question. Really? Yeah.
why is the answer a square to the third power?
So volume is always to the 3rd power because essentially what you're really doing, if you think about it, is like your area of the base, you did millimeters times millimeters, that's millimeters squared. And then you now multiplied it times a 3rd side. So now that's millimeters cubed. So volume will always be cubed. Good question. Okay. Number 3, I'm going to tell you right now, this is the hardest one on the page. Hooray! If you can get through number 3, you get through all of them. Okay. Number 3, what type of shape is number 3? Row, is this a triangular or a rectangular prism?
It's rectangular.
So, raise your hand if you think it's rectangular. Raise your hand if you think it's triangular. Oh, we're at like a 50-50. Oh, no. So, bases have to be parallel to each other and cannot touch. Which 2 shapes in that picture are the only 2 shapes that don't touch? The 2 triangles. So what type of prism is this? Triangular prism. That's Good thing we went over that, because otherwise you're gonna get the whole question wrong if you got the wrong base shape, right? The whole thing's gonna be off. So one of the triangles is your base, doesn't matter. I don't care which one you want to color. I'm gonna color the left one, I guess. Okay. So first step of finding the volume is you want to find the area of your base, and we said our base was a triangle. So we're going to do base times height, bless you, divided by 2 of our triangle. All right. So now, looking at that triangle, what's the base and what's the height of just the purple triangle? It's not 31, okay, because that has nothing to do with that purple triangle. Now look, these two are the same.
The base is 32 from the line.
Okay, so that means this side right here is also the same as this side over here, which is 32.5, so let's write that in. And there's a 90-degree angle here, which means there's a 90-degree angle here. Now here's the thing. Base and height, when you're talking about base and height, think about this logically. When I'm measuring the height of like Miss DeMasso, I have to be standing straight up and down, right? So that means it's making a 90-degree angle. So your base and your height are always the two sides that make up the 90-degree angle. So if you're looking at your 90 here, what's the base and what's the height? Well, the 90 degrees is not the base itself. 28 is the height. I don't know the base. 32.5 is not the base because that's slanted. In order to be base and height, you have to be vertical, straight up and down. Question.
Would it be 62?
Where'd you get 62 from?
Because 28 minus 90 would be 90.
So I can't do that because this is a side length and that's an angle measure. They're two different things, so I can't combine them together.
A squared plus B squared plus
Yes! Good job. Let's say that louder.
isn't the A squared plus B squared?
Exactly. So over here on the left, we've got some space. I want you to redraw that triangle out. I told you this is the hardest one just because it's the most work. Okay. And this is the only. Okay, I'm just redrawing the picture. Put a little question mark there. Wow, it is like super laggy. What is going on, man? Let me go like this. It's a little better. Okay, so I've redrawn my triangle, and anytime you have a right triangle and you want to find an unknown side length, you are allowed to use the Pythagorean theorem, which, like Liv told us, is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I know you know this theorem because number one, I've already taught it to you, and number two, it's my favorite theorem, and I know I've told you, so come on. Okay, the only thing that's important when you go to plug in side lengths is that the c value, well, your hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is the slanted side. So which one am I going to have to plug in for my c value? Yeah, the 32.5 has to go there. Okay, the other two sides don't matter. So I'm going to put 28 as my first one. And then I'll just leave it b squared for my second one. That's what I'm going to try to solve for. Now, it might not look like it, but this is just an algebra, problem. And so essentially what I'm trying to do is get the b by itself. What should I do first if this was a regular algebra problem?
Exponents.
Exponents, exactly. So we're going to do the exponents first. Do you remember how to calculator? Which button do I push? Oh, not shift. Just root. I want to square the number. So you just push 28 and then you just push the x squared button. Boom. So this is 784. And then what's 32.5 squared? What was it? 25. Okay, Great. Now what?
Subtract it.
Subtract the 784 from both sides. I get b squared equals 272.25, and I've got one step left. Square root it. Yes, I want to get rid of the square, so we do the opposite, which is square root. And this time you'll push the shift button. So you push the number in first, and then you push shift x squared. Tim, what you got? 16.5. Great. Oh my gosh, that was a lot of work. Okay, because all we just found was the base. That is whack, right? I told you this was the hardest one. I didn't lie. There was no lying going on here. I told you that from the jump. Okay. So, area, the big B, divided by 2. You now have your information. What's the base and height of that purple triangle? 16.5 and 28. Absolutely not. Why would you even ask me that? Can't believe you asked me for help like that. Okay. Thank you, thank you. All right, so we'll multiply those two numbers together on top first, then divide by 2. What is this, 462, I think? Okay, so I get the area of that triangle, just the triangle, is 231. And then I still need, last is the height between the bases. What is the height between the bases? 31. So remember, height is, I heard some people say it right, height is the one that connects the two triangles together. It's 31 is the height. Woo, okay, so last step, find the volume is big B times H. So my big B we said was 231 times my height is 31. We multiply those two together. I get my volume is 7161. Is that what you said? Kilometers cubed. Woo! Okay. Oh my gosh, give yourself a pat on the back. That one was tough. I told you it was the hardest one. All right. Take a second, look at it again. What questions can I answer for you about this one? It gets easier from here, I promise. Promise, promise. That's the hardest. All right, no questions, we're okay? Seriously? I mean, like, so what you're saying is you want to do one of those types of problem on your own without me. So that's what I hear you saying. Okay, let's jump to cylinders. You're gonna love cylinders. You're gonna love it, I promise. I promise, they're so easy. All right, cylinders, super easy peasy. Cylinder is, you find the area of the circle, pi r squared, right? That's the area of a circle, which we wrote at the beginning, pi r squared. And the only thing you have to do is multiply it times the height of the whole cylinder. That's it. That's all you got to do. Just straight plug and chug, man. Yeah. Times the height, which is 15. So my radius in this problem is 18. My height is 15. I'm going to ask that you write it out, though, with me just for the first one here. Okay. Pi times r squared times h. Okay. So r Radius, like we said, is 18. And our height of the whole cylinder is 15. Now, when I go to put this in my calculator, I do just want to make sure that I'm doing it in the correct order. What do I have to do first? Exponents always have to go first, so make sure you always do that first. Like, let's do first. Okay. So 18 squared gives me, what is it, 324? Okay. 324. And then I multiply it times 15. Okay, so here's what we're going to do, because we're going to write this answer 2 different ways. First thing I want you to do is I just want you to multiply the numbers. Ignore the pi for the second. Just multiply the numbers and tell me what you get. 4,860. Okay, so here are the 2 different ways you can write this answer. One way you can write this answer is literally what you see here. Although typically the pi comes after when we write it as a number. That's just how it's written. 4,860 pi inches cubed. That is an answer right there. So that is called an exact answer, or if I say leave your answer in terms of pi, that means leave the pi symbol, don't touch it, leave it alone, you're done. That's it, you're finished. So this is an exact answer. Most of the time, I don't know what it's going to look like on your final exam. I have a feeling they're going to ask you this way, and they'll have you just leave it like that. If they ask you for a rounded answer, that just means in your calculator, they physically want you to put 4,860 times pi and see what you get, okay? So pi button is down at the bottom. It says EXP. So all you do is you literally put 4,860 and then you multiply that times pi and you get a larger number. So that would be the rounded answer. 268.1. Okay, so depending on how I ask you for the question, if I ask it for exact, that means leave the pi symbol. If I ask you for a rounded answer, that means I actually want you to physically multiply the 2 numbers together. Okay, and that was it. Wasn't that easy? Yeah. Okay, you do number 5 on your own without me. Bye. Go for it. You can do it. I believe in you. Give you 2 minutes. 2 minutes? Oh my gosh, for what? No, you need 2. It's the easiest.
How do you answer the answer? How do you-
Write them as both. Just get in the habit of both of them for right now.
Just put the radius in half. Or it's always already in half. What?
You got to split it in half, correct?
What if it's already in half?
If it's already in half, then you don't have to do anything to it. But if it's not, then you have to take half of it.
So for the, this is in half though.
Then you've got to split it in half.
I know. So do that, so. You get what I'm saying?
Oops. Actually, if you could put both, that would be nice. Just because these are your notes, so it's always nice to have more than what you need. Rounded means you actually have to take the number and push times pi equals. Yep.
What would the exponent?
That's, yeah, at the bottom, yeah, the EXP. She get the same thing as Mr. Massa. 635.25 pi or 1,995. What? I
I did the
rounded.
exponent first.
Yeah, I got
And I got
0.25.
kidding. No, I got pi equal, pi times 550
Times
times
21 times pi equals. Why are you guys giving me a hard time?
Wait, pause.
Wait, pause what?
I'm confused.
Where?
I know. When you said you gotta do the exponent right first,
Correct.
that's what I did. I did 5.5 to the second exponent, and then it gave me 550.
I don't know what button you pushed, but it wasn't the right one.
You can go ahead and redo it up then.
5.5, and then you just push x squared, nothing else.
Yeah, I put x squared.
Do it one more time.
550.
What? You're pushing.
How would you do it?
Look, watch 5.5, and then you just push x squared.
Oh, okay. I put x. Okay.
You put x squared first.
Yeah, no, I put exponent to the second power. That's what I did wrong. I see.
Oh no, yeah. Well, that button down there is pi.
Yeah, I see what I did.
Gotcha. Okay.
I-
All right. Easy, right? That one's easier than prisms. Okay, flip it over to the back. I told you it wasn't gonna. Didn't I say at the beginning it wasn't gonna be a fun day?
Or let me
I
write
thought
that
I
down.
thought I prefaced with that.
I don't recall that happening.
Okay, well I'm telling you now, not fun day. Just imagine me, Mr. Masso, and having to do it 4 times. Yeah, you might. All right, we're not gonna do all of them because I don't want to. Okay. Pyramids. Now, you will notice pyramid looks very similar. Pyramid is exactly the same as a prism. It's area of the base times height. The only difference is it's 1/3 of the area of a prism. So that means if I had a pyramid and a prism and they both had the same base shape, I would need 3 pyramids in order to fill up 1 prism. Does that make sense? It's 1/3 of it. So I would need 3 pyramids to fill up 1 prism. And I'll show you a video tomorrow on it. It's really cool. So this is the formula, 1/3 area of the base times height. Personally, I like to write it as area of the base times height. I like to do divided by 3 because I think that's just easier to look at than the 1/3. Okay. It's the same equation. I think that's easier though. Okay. So we're going to calculate the volume of each pyramid below. So for number 6, what type of pyramid is number 6?
A squared. Right.
It's not a square.
What do you mean the base is a square? A rectangle?
It's a rectangle.
A triangular then. It's a pyramid.
Look here. Those are 2 different numbers. This is not a square, friend. Where the weave
It has this.
90 degrees.
Oh, it was
On all of
rectangular.
them.
Of course, a rectangle still has 90 degrees on all 4 of the corners. Don't be kidding me right now. Come on.
It's pretty close, so.
Well, of course it's close. They're only 1 off, so they should look pretty close, right? Always go by what's given to you. Don't be trying to make things up. Okay. How do you find the area of the rectangle? Length times width, base times height, whatever. What's the length and width of just the rectangle?
Shoot, like 10 and 11.
10 and 11. What's 10 times 11?
Shoot, I don't even know.
You just add a 0. It's 110. Yikes. Okay.
For real.
What is the height of the whole pyramid?
16.
16. Great. Okay. So volume formula is you take area of the base times height and then divide that by 3 at the end. So you've got 110 times 16. Do that first, and then divide it by 3. So I'm gonna and have somebody tell me what they got. 586 so I'll put 7, yeah. And what should I label it as? Cute. Beautiful.
What did you do there with the parentheses?
So I multiplied 110 times 16. Yeah, I just like to put them in
Then you
parentheses.
divided by 3. Right?
And then I divided by 3, correct. Okay, pretty easy, right? It's just like a prism. It's the same thing, you just divide by 3 at the end.
It'll click.
It'll click. It's gonna click right now because you're gonna do number 7 without me. Without me, oh my gosh. Talk to the people next to you. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. Go.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Number 7's on you. Go for it. Give it a go. Yeah.
Is it hemisphere like?
It is.
Okay.
So technically, you could use the sphere formula, and then once you do it, and divide it again by 2. That way.
Okay, how about we triangle the base?
The base, so the base would be,
Right. Can you slow it down because we actually have to define the little base.
well,
Okay, so which side? Not bad.
no, I would probably say,
Oh, what did you do, 10 times 12? Right? Oh, no, it's 10.7.5. 10 times. 10 times 12.
12,
How? I give up too. I
you
give
don't
up
get
too. Shut up, I'm tired.
Don't give up.
Did you just hear what you said? That's crazy. You just disrespected my boy now.
That's where it is. Why are you recording anymore?